G'day, this is Peter from the Property Club, and today we're looking at condos for sale in Makati. So actually I had a good friend who's been in real estate for probably 30 plus years in Manila, and I once asked him, I said, look, of all the places in Metro Manila, where would you buy property? He said, Peter, there's only one city in Metro Manila where I buy property, and that is Makati. Makati is the center of it all, always will be, always has been, and always will be. So Makati, yeah, Makati, it's a really well-known city. I personally love Makati. It's got a combination of older style buildings and newer style buildings. Obviously, it's not as flash as BGC, but there's a lot more happening there, and it is a very exciting place to live indeed. So, let's begin. And today, as per normal, I'm going from cheapest to most expensive. And all the condos you see today, we're going from 2 million to around about 20 million, so just under 20 million peso. So that's the price range I'm looking today. I'm going to tap out around about the 20 million peso mark because it's just too expensive. It's getting a bit ridiculous. So everything you see today is going to be around about below $400,000. But most of the properties, believe it or not, will be under $200,000 that you'll see today. And I found some really, really interesting and exciting buys that are available right now to be had in Makati, and I was surprised at some of them indeed. Anyway, without further ado, let's have a look at this one. So, number one, let's have a look at the Grand Soho. This is the cheapest condominium. It's priced at 2.7 million pesos, so roughly around about $50,000. It's 29 square meters, so just under 100,000 peso per square meter. It is a rush sale in the Grand Soho. Sorry, it only has that one picture. It's 29.4 square meters. Moving along, this next building, this is an absolute steal. Actually, this possibly could be the very best bargain of the night. And I know this building extremely well. It's the Mccartey Bel Air Soho. So actually, I bought a condo in this building and I still own it. And I can tell you right now, the price that you see per square meter there is honestly what you'd expect to pay back 10 years ago in 2010. Literally, and I know this because I've been monitoring this building for a long time. Bel Air Soho is near the red light city. Actually, I used to live here back in the day when I first started dating Arianne, and we met just down the road from here, and I first asked her out on a date at the Handlebars bar there. So, it is 47 square meters. Let's just do the math on this one. 3153 million peso divided by 47. It's an absolute steal. They're only asking 67,000 peso per square meter. It was listed recently, April 24th. Hopefully it's still available if you want to grab a bargain. It does say Best Buy. Absolutely it is. I can tell you now, that's what you would expect to pay back 10 years ago. So let's have a quick look, see if we can see some photos here. So ultimately, the Bel Air Soho, and sorry, small photos here, has like studio condos, but it also has bigger condos at the higher levels, which is this one. And what you'll see is there's this massive balcony, and they actually call these the penthouses. So it is kind of like a studio, and outdoors there's this big balcony. So, internally from memory, these are only like 25 to 30 square meters internally, and the rest of the space is made up by this massive terrace where you could have, literally have big parties there and that sort of thing. Actually, I looked at one of these back in the day, probably in 2014, 2015, and they were asking 3.5, 3.6 million then, and it was a foreclosure. So this price is extremely good. 67,000 peso in Makati. That's laughable. Okay, so the next one, very close by to the Bel Air Soho, a more modern building. The building is a bit nicer. It doubles as a hotel. It's the Oxford Suites. Actually, it's going through the pictures for me. I'll just skip back to the bedroom. Oh, I'm fighting the automatic thing here. Okay, it doesn't want to let me win. Now it wants to show me the gym. Oh, now it's back. Anyway, this is the apartment in the Oxford Suites. It's a bit more expensive. They're asking 4.4. It's 124,000 peso per square meter. What's good about this one, let's say you don't live in the Philippines full time and you want a place that doubles as like a hotel, where when you're not living in it, you can put it in the holiday let pool and the hotel will just manage it for you. So my understanding is this condotel is managed by the Best Western, and you can live in it. And also, if you decide you're going to spend a month or 6 months outside the country, just hand back the keys and they will manage it for you. So it's a decent little condo, and they have actually redone this condo building in recent years in the Oxford Suites at 4.4 million. So not a bad condo. So the next one is Greenbelt Park Place. So this building, and only one photo here, guys. I wish it showed me more. This building I have actually lived in before. It overlooks the park near Greenbelt there. So I'm not talking about a Yala Triangle. There's another park, and I forget the name of it. But it's a nice little park near Greenbelt, and this overlooks that. I'm not sure if this particular apartment does. It is 36 square meters, priced at 5.8. So 5.8 divided by 36 square meters is 161,000 peso per square meter. It's a studio condo. It's a good location, and the big plus about this one, I think it did say it had a car park. No, sorry, I must be thinking of another listing. It says no car park there. But anyway, decent one. Oh no, it does. You almost caught me out there. See, it says no, but if you read down below, it says also the unit does include a 1 parking slot. So ultimately, it's 36 square meters plus a 12.5 square meter parking lot. Ultimately, that's actually sizable. That's 48,000 peso. 48 square meters. So let's say it is 48.5 square meters. 5.8 million divided by 48.5 is 119,000 peso price per square meter for a really good location near Greenbelt. I love the Greenbelt. It's a great area there. Great for dates. Great for dating. I've met a fair few girls there back in my earlier days when I was a young stud. Anyway, those days are over. Moving along. One Central. So One Central, I believe, Mega World developed it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty certain it was Mega World. This is a fire sale, guys. It's on the 28th floor. It is 32 square meters. It is a near new project. I think it's only probably 3 years old, maybe 3 years old from memory. So it's near new. And look, it's only 5.5. Obviously, you can negotiate this down for 32 square meters. Really nice building, the One Central. Very good location, right in the CBD of things. I think it's on. Is it on Ayala, or is it just off? Just trying to remember. Anyway, these are the pictures. Ooh, it has a tub. Very nice. That's the building itself. I'm just going to see if it has the address. I thought it was on Ayala from memory, or very close to Ayala in the Central Business District. Nope, it doesn't tell me the exact address. I'm pretty certain from memory it was very, very close to the Ayala. So anyway, that's a pretty good price for One Central. That's the cheapest price I could find in the building. Moving along. And it's the Columns. So Columns is not far from Greenbelt. Greenbelt, another really great location. If you're a retiree and you want to cruise the Greenbelt, go to the movies, go shopping, something like that. This is a great little unit. It's only 30 square meters. It is kind of small. I reckon you'd have to negotiate this hard down well into the low to mid fours to make this a decent buy. But look, it is a condominium, and it is a really nice condominium built by a decent developer. My understanding is Columns is one of the earlier projects by the Ayala Group. So it is well built. It is a nice development. So that's the pool. Pretty sure it was built by Ayala back in the day. It's an older style building, but still very good. Yep, Columns, Ayala Avenue. So pretty much everything on Ayala Avenue is built by the Ayalas. Well, the stuff that they built and didn't sell off, which is not a lot. Anyway, Shang Salcedo. So if you're not familiar, Shangri-La is a 5-star luxury developer and also hotelier. So you might have stayed in Shangri-La in Hong Kong for $500, $400 a night. It's very expensive. But look, you don't have to spend crazy money per night, because now in the Philippines you can actually buy into the Shangri-La brand. Now this is the cheapest Shang Salcedo place condominium available. It's 35 square meters. Priced at 6.5, which actually is very reasonable for this building. Very high ceilings. Does seem to look at a bit of a wall there, like half of the view you're looking at a wall of another building, and then you get to see some of the city. Again, you'd want to probably negotiate this down into the 5s if you can. It's going to be hard. Like I said, this is the cheapest unit in Shang Salcedo. And the facilities in Shang Salcedo are very, very nice. Not far from the Ayala Triangle, a few minutes walk. Moving along, 6.2 million, and actually it's usually lowest. I'm just going to flick that back there. That should be there. Anyway, it should be lowest to most expensive. That slipped in there somehow. It's a 1-bedroom for sale in the Gramercy. So over the years, Gramercy has increased in value a lot. This is the cheapest unit I could find in Gramercy. It's 6.2 million. So 6.2 million divided by 43.4 means it's 142,000 peso per square meter. If you ever stayed at Gramercy, they have this amazing sky pool that overlooks Makati City and Bel Air Village. So it's like this awesome, pool. I think it's at level like 36 or something from memory when I lived there. It's been a few years since I've lived there now. This condo should definitely have a balcony. It does not show pictures of that. Decently priced property. Again, I still would want to negotiate this to at least mid 5s, if not lower into the mid to low 5s if possible. So that was the Shang after that, and we've already had a look at that one. So then we're at 7 million, the Columns at Ayala. And this is a 1-bedroom, 50 square meter with 1 park. So it does come with a car slot. And that's the unit. Actually not bad if that is a true 1-bedroom and not just like a big studio. It's got, a wall or whatever to give you some privacy from the living space. Then that is actually good value, because most of the Columns properties that are selling cheaply are studios and not 1-bedroom, whereas this appears to be a true 1-bedroom. 50 square meters with a car slot, guys. 7 million peso, a decent property indeed. Just have one more look at that picture. It just amazes me, like, why is the quality of these pictures so terrible? I don't know, is it the website itself that it pixelates because they want to save space or something on their website? Not sure. The one thing I did notice here is you can see there's a bit of a view. Doesn't look like much of a view. It looks like it looks straight at another building. Columns development, the condos, there's actually several towers. From memory, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure there was 3 towers built. So I think this unit looks at one of the other towers. Moving along, and we're starting to get some exciting properties here, some really cool and exciting properties. This is a 1-bedroom for sale in the Eaton Parkview Greenbelt, Makati. It's listed at 8 million peso. I'm actually going to show you 2 of these condos. I'm trying to find the square meterage. It is 45 square meters, but that does not actually include the airspace. So, most likely including the airspace, it's around about 53, maybe 54 square meters. Obviously, it's hard to value these lofts just because they're not like flats, and you can't calculate it in the same way when you're doing price per square meterage. But anyway, this is the unit. Very nice unit for 8 million. Very nice. I love that loft space. Always dreamed of owning a loft, but I think I'm not going to be able to do that now. Having a kid, I think it's a bit dangerous, falling down the stairs and this sort of thing. So I might not be able to tick that one off the bucket list. Yeah. Anyway, that's the view. And you can see the park there. And behind the park is Greenbelt. Very nice location in the middle, smack bang in the middle. You can probably see the Shang Grand Tower, and to the right hand side is Eaton Residences. The building we're looking at now is Eaton Parkview. Eaton Residences is another building that overlooks Greenbelt, so please do not get confused with the 2 buildings. Okay, just another one in Eaton Parkview, so you get another example. This one's slightly bigger. It's 49 square meters. It's priced at the exact same price, which is 8 million peso, and this is the unit. Personally, I actually like the other unit, just the modern design of it. I like the style, but I'd probably buy this one over the other unit just because it's slightly larger. It's 49 square meters and it represents good value. But again, it depends how hard they would negotiate and which one will give you the better price per square meter. The next one, really exciting unit, and I did feature this in the lofts video. So there's a few lofts tonight, probably 4 or 5 lofts included in this list. Now, I am a huge fan of Rockwell, the developer. This is in Joya Lofts and Towers in Rockwell Drive, which is awesome. It is 46 square meter with a parking slot, so 12.5. So ultimately, let's calculate this. 8.8 million divided by 46. That's 191,000 peso plus parking. So for a loft in Joya Towers with parking, and I haven't included the parking slot in the calculation, this is really good value. And as a loft, what would I buy this versus that? Hello, it's Rockwell. So of course I'd buy this. It's a rush sale. It might have already sold, who knows. I have featured it in another video, so it is likely to have sold. Hopefully not. Anyway, one more loft. This is Eaton Residences, which is right next door to Greenbelt. You walk across the road, you're at Greenbelt. This is 9 million for 48 square meters. Sorry, again, the pictures are pixelated. They really, really suck. The lofts at Eaton Residences are of a higher standard than Parkview, always have been, and the price point has always been more expensive. So you might think, oh look, this is more expensive than the other one, go the other one for the price, but actually this versus Parkview, I would way more prefer Eaton Residences over Parkview. This is an extremely good deal at 9 million peso already. Having said that, I'd probably want to screw them down to 7.9, 7.95, something like that, during this current crisis. Okay, one more loft. I'm pretty sure this is the last one, guys. This is the Gramercy. And I had a contract where I got gazumped, and I bought one of these lofts in, I think it was about 2015, maybe 14. Can't remember exactly the year, but I think it was 14. But I went to buy something like this, and it was, I think, in the low 6s, maybe 6.3, and it looked exactly like this. It was slightly bigger, maybe 43 or 44 square meters. So I know this building well. Ultimately, I don't like how big the unit building is at Gramercy. Gramercy is a great location, don't get me wrong. But just living there, earthquakes, that sort of thing, I think you probably got more risk living in the Gramercy than you do like Eaton. I just felt that Eaton were better built condominiums, and that's just my personal opinion. Just saying, okay? Having said that, some people prefer the Century properties, and look, don't get me wrong, I bought into Century property before, but look, this over Eaton Residences or Eaton Parkview, I personally like the Residences. This is slightly bigger. It's right next to the Greenbelt than this particular one. And honestly, knowing that I could have bought this 5 years ago for like 6 million, I find it very difficult wanting to pay 9 million. Whereas back in 2015, when I was looking at this for 6 million, these were still at least 7.5, 8 million. So actually, this is why I'm saying this is an extremely good price. Most of the Eaton Residences lofts are at least 200 to 220,000 peso per square meter. So that is really good value over this one. But still, don't get me wrong, the lofts in Gramercy are very cool too, but they're a bit smaller. Okay, so, and then you have another level. So, hard one. Look, Eaton Residences is nice, but Rockwell is nicer. This is 52 square meters. It is a loft. I'm pretty certain it does not come with parking, but it is done really nicely, and it's a bit bigger. It's 52 square meters. And when you see this unit, your jaw will drop. Oh, it's a dream. And look at that view. And I like Rockwell because it's in between Makati and Ortigas. It's good for traveling. And just, that extra bit of size being 52 square meters just feels so much bigger. That is the dream unit. The dream loft. Look, if I had money, it would probably be this one. This is the one I'd go with. If I had 200 grand to burn right now, 200 grand US, and I was buying in, Makati, definitely this is probably the unit I would buy. Still a lot of money, and I'd want to negotiate this down. Probably not too much, because it is already decent value. It is actually a good price, to be fair. To the owner here, maybe like mid-9s, 9.44, something like that I think is reasonable. Need some water, hold on. Now this doesn't say whether it's a loft or not. It doesn't have pictures of the actual unit itself, but this is interesting because it is Eaton Residences and it's 64 square meters. So I'm pretty sure it is a loft, because my understanding is all the Eaton Residences were lofts. I haven't actually seen one in there that wasn't, so I'm assuming it is. So if it is a loft, this actually trumps everything you've seen at 10.5 being 64 square meters. And does it have parking? No, it does not say that it has parking. Unfortunately, it doesn't have pictures of the unit itself. But anyway, moving along. So the next is the Oriental Place, 80 square meter 2 bedroom, which is good, and it has a parking slot, guys. Parking, always need parking, because it can be such a pain. And honestly, nowadays, parking, like overnight parking in Makati or Ortigas BGC, is so expensive. Like, look, not so expensive as, Australia or the US. But last time I was in Ortigas, I had an argument because I stayed overnight just less than 24 hours. It would have been like 19, 20 hours. And I think I was charged like 1,000 peso, and I went crazy. And they're like, there's all these added fees, there's an overnight fee and all this nonsense. It was absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, 2 bedroom, that's the 2 bedroom at the Oriental Place. Priced at 11.5 with parking, guys. So 11.5 divided by 80 square meters is 143,000 peso per square meter. Yeah, that sounds about right. I'd probably want to get this down closer to 10 million. If you could, maybe even high nines. Then this represents good value. It is actually really good value because it's 80 square meters plus parking at the Oriental place. And it's actually a 2-bedroom plus maid's room plus parking. Okay, we're back in Rockwell. I'm pretty certain this was the very best price per square meter apartment in the Manansala building in Rockwell. Priced at 12.5. I'm pretty sure it was 66 square meters. Big living space. Just wish it was a 2-bedroom. But anyway, 1 bedroom in the Manansala doesn't show you too much. Price at 12.5, so 12.5. The asking price divided by 66 square meters is 189,000 peso per square meter. So it does actually have a park as well, plus parking. So yes, very good value. 12.9 in the Grand Midori. It is 62 square meters. It's a 2-bedroom unit, not a 1-bedroom, a 2-bedroom. Obviously, the 2 bedrooms are usually priced higher in terms of price per square meter. That looks like a corner. Yep, it looks like a corner unit, and it is a corner unit, guys, so that is ideal. Always wished I bought a corner unit. Corner or a loft, I don't know. What would you prefer? A nice corner unit with, lots of light, or a loft? I think a big corner unit, probably I'd prefer that having a kid, but if I was a bachelor, I'd go the loft. Okay, the next one is exciting, guys. Drum roll, this is the Trump Tower. Alright, so you Trump fan, are you not? This is actually really good value with parking and storage. This is the picture. I've cut all the pictures up, it's really weird. Actually, these have like really nice bathrooms with marble throughout. You'll see it in one of the other listings I've got there. It's a 1-bedroom in the Trump Tower. Actually, I'm pretty certain this is the cheapest 1-bedroom that I found in Trump Tower. Trump Tower was always expensive, even off the plan. I remember seeing it was like 250,000 peso per square meter when units were still selling off the plan in BGC for like 100,000, right? So it was like, why would you buy the Trump Tower? It's overpriced, it's just crazy. So to be honest, Trump Tower hasn't really increased in value because it was so expensive off the plan. It hasn't really moved much when you look at the price per square meter. So 13.6 divided by 55 plus parking, but let's just do the math here. They're asking 247,000 peso per square meter. This was the cheapest price point, being 13.6 in the building for Trump Tower. Actually, it's not a 1-bedroom, doesn't look like it. There is a partition there, it's a bit confusing. Maybe you could put up a slider or something. It just says it's a studio. Most of the Trump Towers, the floor plans that I have seen are very, open plan, like open living, which is nice if you're a bachelor, but at the end of the day, it is nice to have a true 1-bedroom. Anyway, that's 13.6. The next one, really, really cool. 14 million. This versus this. Dude, I would not buy Trump Tower. This is better value. This is a better price per square meter. It's the Shang Grand Tower. Honestly, it has the name. It's right next door to Greenbelt, and it just looks cool. The Gothic style tower of Shang Grand. So I tried to expand that, but that's as big as it gets, unfortunately. So this has parking, so it's 80 square meters plus parking. They're asking 14 million. I'd probably only want to pay 11.5, 12. But, look, to be fair, trying to get something that cheap in Shang Grand is impossible. I doubt they will negotiate at all. I don't know, the owners in this building are really, really funny. I've tried to pick up condos in here for years, and they just don't like negotiating, I've got to be honest. So 14 million is actually the cheapest unit in the building. in the entire building. It's a one bedroom. I'm pretty sure from memory, I have seen these units before. It's a one bedroom plus maids. Okay, so you can have a maid in this one bedroom, which is cool. 14 million divided by 80 square meters is only 175,000 peso per square meter. So this versus that, the Trump Tower, I'm sorry, Shang wins hands down, 14 mil. And that's 14 mil plus parking. And this, yeah, sorry, this did have a park. So yeah, look, one is like close to 250,000 peso per square meter, which is Trump Tower, and this is 175,000 peso per square meter, which is probably, honestly, that's value. That's probably what it's worth. I think this person who's listed it, which is Lemon Tree, and that's the phone number there, they've actually listed it on point. Usually, I find most of the listings, people are asking crazy money, but this is on point. That's probably what it's worth, to be fair. Okay. 14 mil, another Trump Tower. This is even smaller. 44 square meters. So this versus that, actually this is better value than this one, but I'm pretty certain I brought this up for a few reasons. One being it has pictures, and I wanted to show you, how much, the units in Trump Towers sell for. So look, they are nice. Look at that. So lots of natural light flowing in. Yeah, look at those bathrooms. Actually, does this not have a bath? Because most of them that I've seen had baths. Maybe because it's a smaller 44 square meter unit, doesn't have a bath. Anyway, that's it. 14 mil for that. Moving along. 17 mil, and they're saying this is a fire sale. Actually, this is a fire sale because this is the best value unit. Okay, yes, it's a higher price point, but it's 17 mil. And it is 80 square meters divided by 80 square meters is 212,000 peso per square meter. So actually, this is the best value unit that I could find in Trump Tower. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Imagine soaking in the bathtub. You got the foam, the bath foam, just chilling, looking at the view, smoking a cigar, drinking a glass of whiskey or a glass of red wine, depending on your preference. That is a dream. Just a beautiful bathroom, that. One bedroom. And that's the living space. And that looks like the living space too, is it? No, that must be the bedroom. So yeah, that's the best value Trump Tower condominium available. Okay, moving along. Okay, so this, honestly, if you've got money and you need coin, guys, serious coin, this is 17.5 million. It's the cheapest condominium I've seen in Shang Grand Tower in a long time. I'm unsure if it's still available. You need to call Shana Zane. That's the phone number. It was posted recently in April 24th. 17.5 million peso for a 130 square meter unit. And I'm telling you, most of these units in Shang Grand, being 2-bedroom, had parks. Some of them had 2 parking slots, and yes, it does. 2-bedroom with 2 parking slots. Bam! Can you imagine Shang Grand Tower? I wish it showed you your pictures of the actual unit. Again, some of the owners are funny like that. They don't want to actually show you pictures of their personal space because they're rich, I don't know. That's just how rich people are, I guess. But yeah, Shangri-La, the Shang Grand, where it all started. And, 17.5 is really good. Let's just do the math, because this is stealing this property. Stealing 17.5 divided by 130 square meters is only 134,000 peso per square meter. Honestly, you probably wouldn't want to negotiate on this unit. You just want to call and say, hey, look, I've got cash. I want to buy this now. I'm not even going to negotiate. I'm willing to pay 134,000 peso per square meter for a 2-bedroom with 2 car slots. So that's, internally my understanding is they're 2-bedroom with a maid's room So, a nice decent room for your maid, as well as 2 car slots, which should not be included in the 130 square meters. Usually, from memory, it's been a long time now because it's an older building, but from memory, the 130 square meter 2 bedrooms were usually corner units as well. Okay, so nice big corner unit 2 bedroom for 17.5. I wouldn't even negotiate. That's probably the first time I've ever said that. Just buy it, and buy it now if you've got some cash. I wish I did. I wish I did. I can imagine now, an old classic Porsche in 1 car slot and a brand new Land Cruiser. Brand new Land Cruiser 4-wheel drive in the other slot. Bulletproof, so no one can hijack you on the road. That would be dream living. Okay, so that's probably my favorite, most expensive 2-bedroom unit of the night. Before we go, I'm going to show you an awesome size, huge apartment, which is really good value. And this is the last property on the list today for the best value condos in Makati. Drum roll. Here we go. Okay, so this building, is in the Mccartey Bel Air Condominium. It is 215 square meters. Now, I've actually got 2 listings because I'm pretty sure it's the same listing. Pictures look similar, but I'm going to show you pictures of both because this one you can't expand. But the price per square meter, they've even done the math for us, is 87,000 peso per square meter, which is extremely good value. It's even better value than Shang. It's not Shang, so technically I would probably want to spend more, get a little less space, and go with Shangri-La personally. But if you just want a huge space, then this is it, guys. This is the one. It only comes with 1 parking slot, not 2. Okay, it is a nice unit, which is Mccartey Bel Air Building. If you're not familiar with the building, it is located on P. Burgos, so it's not going to be for everyone. And that's the other downside with this condominium, and that's why the price is reasonable. It seems most of the units around or located on P. Burgos are cheaper, are more affordable, because most people don't want to live in the red light city. Okay, and that's why it's so cheap. So 215 square meters. So it is huge, guys, huge. Let's see, can we expand here? Not really. This is the unit. I'm pretty certain it is the same unit. You can see it's on P. Burgos, towards the end of P. Burgos, where I'm pretty sure it's on the corner of P. Burgos and Arianne Avenue. Not too far from how's that. So that's the one. Let me just go back to the details of this. Pictures look a bit nicer on this one. That's the building. That's actually outside. That's the building. I wish it wouldn't move, the bloody picture. But ultimately, really nice building, really cool apartment. Again, you probably can negotiate this down. Because it's P. Burgos, there's only going to be a very small amount of people willing to buy in this street. So negotiate hard on this one. You might find that you could buy something like this for around about 14 million peso, which is awesome value, totally awesome value if you can get that for around about the money. Absolutely. So this is it. Thanks for watching, guys. This has been Pete. Please do share, like, and subscribe. Double thumbs up, and have a great weekend. What's left of it anyway. Cheers, and bye for now. Bye-bye.